Hi, I'm Fraser Douglas, the avid tent camper. This is January 2018, and we have had 2 weeks of exceptionally cold weather. But now the weather has gotten nicer, and so we decided we would come out for a little camping trip. We're expecting daytime highs to be about 50 or 60, and nighttime lows to get down to about 30 to 35. I had been interested in cool weather camping for about 2 years and realized that most winter camping enthusiasts preferred canvas tents with heaters inside. So 3 weeks ago, I bought this canvas wedge tent from a Civil War reenactor. The tent was in good shape, but some of the stake down loops had been torn and it had no floor. So Ava repaired the stake down loops, added 2 guy-out loops to each side, and sewed a 15-inch sodcloth all the way around the bottom of the tent. When we arrived at the campground, there was still quite a bit of ice and snow on the ground. We've set our camp up at Montesano State Park near Huntsville, Alabama, and this is our campsite. Let me show you around. We're in site number 58. It's a nice wooded site with lots of buffer area, but the site is fairly small, with not much more than 500 or 600 square feet. It's made primarily for RVs, but it does have the crushed stone surface that makes it fairly easy to set up our tent and our tarp. We've got the canvas wedge tent on this trip. We've set it up over in the corner of the campsite. In a few minutes I'll show you the inside of the tent. And we've got a new white tarp set up. It's kind of windy, so you can see the wind is blowing quite a bit. Over in this corner we've got our kitchen, and our kitchen is set up on a table with leg extension so that its counter height, 36 inches high, makes it easy to work on. We keep all of our food in the back of our car and then back the car up to the kitchen area, and we've got kind of a chuck wagon set up. This is a second table that we'll use to cook with our stove if we decide to cook with our stove. This is our dining table. I made this tabletop and put those folding legs on it out of pine. My chair. Here's the tent. Here's the picnic table that came with the campsite. We'll wash dishes over there. And there's our fire ring, and I'm going to make a fire here in a few minutes and start cooking us a little something to eat. Ava's fixed up the inside of our tent. We put a sodcloth all the way around the edge of the tent, and then we've got a gray indoor-outdoor carpet on top of a tarp so that we should be fairly dry. Up in this corner, got a milk crate with a space heater. And since it's going down into the 30s tonight, we'll probably run this space heater off and on during the night. That would be Ava's side. And here we haven't unpacked our sleeping bags yet, but you'll see our sleeping bags are there, and a couple of jackets of mine are there. And we've got some carpet down here. We'll tuck our sodcloth under this carpet at night when we go to bed. We've got a tent light hanging from the center pole, ridge pole. And we were very happy to see that the bathrooms were clean and very warm. Although we ran into a few problems setting up, once we got set up, it was a very comfortable campsite. We're ready to settle in for the night. When the sun set at 5, the temperature dropped and the wind speed increased considerably. Although our kitchen tarp had a sidewall that blocked the wind, it still was too cool to stay outside. So we extinguished our fire and headed inside the tent and turned on the space heater. When we placed the space heater on top of the milk crate, it only raised the temperature of the floor area just a small amount, but the top of the tent was close to 80 degrees. On Sunday afternoon, Ava's son, Leonardo, and his family came over to spend a few hours with us. The temperature was fairly high, but the wind was still strong. We enjoyed sitting around the campfire, talking about life and family, preparing chicken salad, and watching the beautiful sunset over the side of the mountain. But again, when the sun set, the temperatures dropped and the winds picked up. Although our campfire kept us warm if we were right next to the fire, as soon as we moved a few feet away, we got cold again. When Ava's son left, we took a hot shower, moved inside of the tent, and turned on the space heater. This time we put the space heater down at the floor so that it would heat our sleeping area better. All night long, we listened to strong wind blowing our tarp and eventually ripping the grommet out of our tarp. I'm glad we took this January trip, but we learned some hard lessons. Most importantly, we learned that we still don't have the clothing that is needed in order to enjoy being outside in cold, windy weather. But we also learned that a canvas tent with a sealed floor and a space heater will keep you very warm even on the coldest of nights. We learned that tent heaters work best when they're down near floor level rather than elevated. We learned that when you add a sod cloth to the bottom of your tent, be sure to seal up the corners, or else you'll have little holes through which the wind will blow and critters can enter your tent. We learned that it's better to set up 2 8x10 tarps as the kitchen canopy rather than one large 10x20 tarp. And finally, we learned that cold weather reduces our desire to cook a large, elaborate meal and to wash dishes. Before concluding, I want to thank Ava and our daughter-in-law, Marty, for sharing some of the pictures that they took during this trip. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this tour of our winter cool weather campsite, and I hope this video will encourage you to think about taking a cool weather camping trip sometime in the future. For more information about modern tent camping, please visit my website, www.basictentcamping.com. Remember, take more trips, travel further, visit more attractions, and save money. Go tent camping.